Welcome back. After Saturday's win over Oral Roberts, the USD women's basketball team has improved to an unblemished 13-0 in conference play with one game remaining in the regular season. Additionally, they're riding a 17-game win streak. That's right, the Yotes haven't lost a game since December 16th, 2017 against Tulsa. For more on last week's wins as well as the season finale tonight against SDSU, I caught up with the woman in charge of it all earlier this week. All right, joined by the head coach of the University of South Dakota women's basketball team, Dawn Plitzuweit. How's it going?
It's going well, Kelly. Good to have you on the set today.
I know. I'm so excited to be here. Big shoes to fill for Jay.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'll try my best. Well, Coach, first of all, with the win on Saturday, you clinch a share of the Summit League title. I have to ask about that right off the bat. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty special. Pretty exciting times, certainly for our young ladies. And they certainly have battled through a great deal to get to the point where we're playing right now, playing really good basketball, and certainly have been rewarded in some regard in that at least a share of the conference title will come their way.
All right, well, it's very exciting to watch. We were there, but we're going to talk about the previous game from last week before that, a 72-50 win over Omaha on their home court. And in that game, you guys struggled a bit shooting from deep range, and you said it was a tough test for us because we didn't have that element of our game going. So how did your team step up in other ways to counteract that?
Well, what I thought was really great to see out of our team in that environment is that we did a really nice job defensively throughout the course of the game and made some adjustments. And I thought it was, we talk about how Kate Liveringhouse is playing really good basketball as her senior. But what was neat to see in that game was I thought that was the best defensive game that she's played in the 2 years that we've had a chance to coach her. And now that kind of defensive enthusiasm, if you will, is contagious. And I thought some kids came off the bench and played really, really well defensively for us. Taylor Frederick gave us a really good spark defensively. Monica Arns came in, and it's really important that we continue to get better on that end of the court. And I thought we did that at Omaha.
Yeah, got to be happy for her. Well, that road win, the last road game of the regular season, and you guys go 7-0, which is the first time in program history you've gone undefeated in the Summit League on the road. How did you maintain that consistency all season long?
Well, I thought our young ladies did a great job of really defending. We talk about it a lot of times. Whether you're at home or on the road, it's something that you say should be consistent. And yet, as a player, it's not always consistent. Sometimes teams make shots at an unexpectedly high rate. Sometimes things don't quite go your way. But certainly this group of young ladies has had the mission and the mindset to be a better defensive team. And I think we still have room to grow in that area, and that's exciting for us.
Well, coaches always say sometimes the offense doesn't travel, but the defense has to, and you guys certainly have gotten that done. Right. Moving on to Saturday, playing Oral Roberts, and of those 7 road games that you played, the one in Tulsa was the closest, a 5-point game. And you look at the first quarter in that game and the first quarter of the game on Saturday, and they came out guns blazing, gave you everything they had.
They really did. I thought both times that we played against Oral Roberts, they had made a change from the game before. And so as a coach, you look at what do you expect them to bring? How do you expect them to play? What do you expect matchups to look like? And I think they came out both times and played with great intensity, but also gave us a look that kind of put us back on our heels a little bit. And, from that experience, we can look at it and we'll watch it in film and see what can we learn from that? And in some ways, I know this sounds kind of crazy as a coach, but in some ways, you look at it and you say, okay, good, this is an opportunity. We haven't seen this yet. And so now this is something new, or 27, 28 games into the season, we see something a little bit different. That's great because ultimately, you want to be prepared for any look that you get. And I thought Oral Roberts did that to us.
Yeah, but you guys responded well, holding them to just 5 points in that second quarter. You go into halftime up 4. But what was your message at halftime? Because you guys came out for a 31-point third quarter.
Well, we talked about at halftime was just how we needed to move the basketball differently, how we needed to space the floor differently, and give our players opportunities to have some different lanes, either to post up or a lane to drive into. And so what we really focused on is how to move the ball differently, how to change some of our alignments. No rocket science that really took place, but just a slight change of our movement.
Just Coyote basketball.
Coyote basketball.
Well, 72-55 win, and then on to the next one. Of course, the game that everyone talks about, but of course you got to go one game at a time. But the Jackrabbits coming here on Wednesday, and you beat them at Frost last time.
How have they changed as a team and developed, but at the same time, how have you guys changed and developed as a team since you last played?
I think it's a great question. I thought that when we played them last time, we were able to separate during one or two stretches of the game, but then they were able to make a run. And, basketball's a game of momentum shifts. And I think what they have done since that point in time is they've become a more potent offense. They're scoring at a 50% clip from the floor in Summit League action, shooting at a close to a 40% clip in Summit League action. They're scoring at a very high percentage, and at the same time continuing to get to the free throw line and continue to get offensive rebounds. So I think they've made some of those adjustments. From our standpoint, what have we done differently? I'm not sure that we've done a whole lot differently from that point in time. I think we've added some defensive awareness pieces a little bit, but I don't know that we've really changed a significant amount. Now it's going to come down to kind of both teams. You never really know what this game will be. I think at times you look at it could be an offensive outburst or it could be a defensive slugfest. Not really sure, but either way, certainly the intensity will be really high, and it should be a great atmosphere to be a part of.
All right, Coach. Well, we are definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck on Wednesday.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kelly.
All right.
All right, if you missed it, that big rivalry game is tonight, coming up at the top of the hour, actually live right here on Midco SN. We'll have a more in-depth preview of the Jacks and the Yotes matchup later in the show. Coming up after the break, we'll hear from the coach on the other side of the rivalry. Aaron Johnston talks all things Jackrabbit hoops ahead of tonight's game when Midco Sports Tonight returns.